My patrons bought me a motor. This is a Bosch SMG 180-120. It's an off-the-shelf motor that's used in a variety of different electric and hybrid cars. I'm going to put this in my 1956 Jeep CJ5 that I pulled out of the woods last year and have been slowly rebuilding. Last year when I said this thing's going to be electric, I got quite a few comments from people that made it rather obvious that some people have very strong feelings about this subject. I mean, geez, it's not like I said I was going to put square headlights on it or something. Quite a few of them used words like blasphemy, heresy, sin. I guess I didn't realize Jeep was a religion. As is often the case with religious zealots, there's an ignorance of history that's at play here. Case in point, the 1974 AM General Jeep CJ5 Electruck. They made 352 of these electric postal Jeeps for the US Postal Service, and 5 more for the Canadian Postal Service, one of which still survives today. This thing had a compound-wound DC motor that produced a whopping 30 horsepower, 22 kilowatts, had a range of about 30 miles and a top speed of around 35 miles an hour, which sounds pitiful, but for a vehicle that's delivering mail in a crowded city is probably more than adequate. Of course, the 0 to 20 time on this thing was 8.7 seconds, so getting away from the mailbox was not exactly hasty. AMC actually did some really interesting work on electric vehicles during this time. That's a subject for another time, but this thing was sufficiently advanced that NASA actually did a research paper on it. And if you're one of these Willis purists who don't believe that AMC made real Jeeps, let me just remind you of 1969's XJ001 concept car. This was an abomination of a sports car based on a CJ5 chassis, which thankfully never made it to production under AMC. And if you're going to try to dock me points for saying Willis instead of Willies, do your homework. Now, none of the comments I got explained why people don't like this idea beyond it's very bad. So I figure I need to explain why I'm doing this. And the short answer is, because I want to. I think that the most authentically Jeep thing you can do is build the vehicle into what you want it to be. If you want to restore it, run the original F-134 Hurricane motor that produces 74 horsepower and goes 45 miles an hour. That's fine. I can respect and appreciate that. If you want to do a 4-inch lift and LS swap it, well, I think that's kind of silly because that amount of power would turn this drive shaft into a pretzel. You'd basically be looking at replacing the entire drivetrain, and probably have to reinforce the frame, and maybe throw a reproduction tub on it while you're at it. But I guess if that's the sort of thing you're into, you do you, have at it. Now, I'm going to say something really controversial here. My goal for this project is to make something that's drivable while maintaining as much of the original character of the vehicle as possible. So let's talk about what gives the CJ5 its character. Obviously, it's a 7-slot grille, round headlights, solid axle 4-wheel drive, leaf springs, a short wheelbase and a lot of ground clearance, and that's really about it. I'm even going to keep the original transmission and twin-stick transfer case. They're just not here at the moment. When it was new, this thing was horribly underpowered, and it was basically a farm implement. It would top out at about 45 miles an hour on a good day, and by today's standards, it's not really that drivable. For a modest performance upgrade, I could put a Buick V6 in here. Do you really want to watch me put a Buick V6 in here? That seems boring. Part of the reason I want to go electric is because it's interesting to me. I want to learn about this. I want to learn about it, see what the challenges are, and figure out how to overcome them. It's sort of one of those bucket list things I've wanted to do for a long time, and this seems like an interesting opportunity. My goal with this is to make it into something that I'm going to want to drive on a regular basis. And I know that not having to pay at the pump is going to make me want to drive this more. As much as it's become a sport to blame your least favorite politician for gas prices, the fact of the matter is OPEC and the oil companies don't really care if they're gouging you at the pump. On the other hand, my electricity comes from an anarcho-syndicalist electric co-op that's run by a board of directors that are elected by the customers. So they're probably going to try to keep the rates down, but I'm kind of getting off into the weeds here. And I'm looking forward to deleting those comments blaming your least favorite politician. So what I want to end up with here is a vintage Jeep that's more drivable with some steering and brake upgrades. And it just happens to be electric. It'll have most of the same character as the original, it just won't go putt-putt-putt like the original. There are certainly some cars that do derive a lot of their character from the power plant, but I don't think the CJ5 is one of them. This thing came with 7 different motors from the factory. People Kubota swap these things, but I can't put an electric motor in one? Maybe you still think I'm ruining this vehicle by converting it to electric, but I'm not the one that ran it into the ground and then left it to rot back into the woods. So if you don't like it, to paraphrase Rich Rebuilds, go drag your own Jeep out of the woods, restore it, keep it, and then shut the hell up. So let's talk about why this motor. Like I said, this is the Bosch SMG separate motor generator, 180, 120, I think it's 180 diameter, 120 length. This is a nice little compact powerhouse of a motor. It has the honor of driving the front axle of the Porsche 918 Spyder, which is a $800,000 supercar. It's also used in the Fiat 500 electric and a few different hybrids and electric cars in Europe. This one happens to be out of a smart car, because if I'm going to trigger people by converting this Jeep to electric, I'm going to go all in. If your fragile masculinity is somehow offended by me putting a smart car motor in my Jeep, just rest assured that the smart car has the same amount of horsepower as the original engine in the Jeep. In other applications, depending on which set of specs you believe, this motor will either do 80 or 90 kilowatts, which is 108 or 120 horsepower respectively, so it should be a modest performance upgrade. This thing weighs all of 65 pounds, 29.4 kilograms. Compare that to this motor, which weighs about 450 pounds. Now, if you're one of the people that think that this thing should get rebuilt and run again, actually, I agree with you. I'm just not going to be the guy to do it. Someone please come get this out of my yard. So after you add in all the power electronics and batteries, I'll probably be maybe 200 to 300 pounds over the original weight. It's really not much. It's kind of the equivalent of a few sacks of feed in the back. The original F134 motor in the Jeep would redline around 4,000 RPM. This thing will go to 12,000, so I can probably just drive it in second gear all the time. Of course, in order to do that, I need an inverter to power this thing. I'm going to use this Prius inverter, because everybody loves the Prius. The guys that have been working on the Open Inverter project have done a pretty good job hacking this and have an open source control board for it. And it turns out these things are not only pretty nail-proof, but you can get them from a junkyard for pretty cheap. I think I paid $90 for this on eBay. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'll know that I'm a big fan of salvaging and recycling as much as I can. And that's part of the other reason I'm going with this combo. That and all in between the motor, the inverter, the controller, I should be just over $1,000, whereas if I went with an aftermarket EV motor and controller, I'd probably be looking starting around $5,000. So that's a pretty interesting collection of parts I'm building up here. The next thing to do is to get this thing mated up to the T90 transmission. So I'm going to need to make a custom adapter plate and do some custom machining on the input shaft. This is going to get interesting and be a challenge. So if you want to see me try to stick these two things together, stick around. Thanks for watching, and a big thanks to my Patreons for helping make this possible. Oh yeah, there was one more thing I didn't mention. Global climate change is real, and it's caused by humans burning fossil fuels. Electric vehicles are not a perfect solution, but they're a big step in the right direction for decarbonization. I don't think this video or any of my videos are going to change anybody's mind about electric vehicles, or even converting classic vehicles to electric. But electric vehicles are going to be our future, and I'm hoping that I can learn a lot in this project and maybe educate some people along the way about how these things work, take some of the mystery out of it.